Please join me again in the council prayer. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please join me in honoring America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilor Broderick.
Here.
Councilor Caulfield.
Here.
Councilor Dakota.
Here.
Councilor Elliott. Here. Councilor Martin.
Here.
Councilor Mendonça.
Here.
Councilor Mercia.
Here.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Here.
Councilor Murphy.
Here.
9 present.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilor Caulfield.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'm requesting a moment of silence for darkened chambers for my colleagues, for the following two people. Robert F. Gaffney, a loving and devoted husband, father, grandfather, veteran of the United States Navy. I met Mr. Gaffney approximately 40 years ago. He was coaching in the Highland Little League, and not only did he instruct and show the children how to win, but he also showed them how to lose gracefully, with respect. Mr. Gaffney was just a tremendous man, lived in the Highlands all his life, and may he rest in peace. Also, Blanche L. Hundress, a loving and devoted wife, mother, grandmother. Mrs. Hundress, a devoted member of the Hellenic Orthodox Church of the Holy Trinity of Lowell, and Mrs. Hundress was an outstanding citizen of our city. May she also rest in peace as well.
Thank you, Councilor Caulfield. May we please rise in a moment of silence in darkened chambers. May they rest in peace. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, accept the minutes of the October 26th meeting. Motion by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Dakota. Any discussion on the minutes? I'd just like to thank Vice Chair Councilor Broderick for doing a yeoman's job and filling in for the mayor last Tuesday. Thank you so much. All those in favor of the minutes, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed to vote.
I should note, Mr. Mayor, the meeting was over by like 7:45. So. Not to put any pressure on you.
No, I know. Under the city manager's portion of the agenda, communications, city manager responses to council motions and requests. Does anyone want to be heard on any council motions requests? Hearing none, motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mendonça, second by Councilor Murphy. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed to vote. We have 3 out-of-state travel requests this evening. Motion by Councilor Mercia, second by Councilor Dakota, that we take them together. All those in favor of taking them together signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Motion to approve the out-of-state travel request by Councilor Caulfield, second by Councilor Broderick. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilor Broderick.
Yes.
Councilor Caulfield.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Councilor Elliott.
Yes.
Councilor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Mendonça.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Milanazzo.
Yes.
Councilor Murphy.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we have a communication from the city manager. It's addressed to Ms. Luna. It's a resignation letter. This letter acknowledges receipt of your letter dated October 22nd, 2010, in which you resigned from the Hunger Homeless Commission. Your resignation is hereby accepted. I'm filing your resignation and acceptance thereof with the city clerk as required by law, and also forwarding copies as a communication to the city council. The city of Lowell appreciates your service as a member of the Hunger Homeless Commission, and on its behalf, I extend thanks. Very truly yours, Bernard F. Lynch, city manager. Accept the communication and place on file by Councilor Mendonça, seconded by Councilor Broderick. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me just say that Deborah Luna, along with her husband Tony, they have been instrumental in the needs of the hungry and the homeless. They have been an asset to this city, and I want to thank them very much publicly, and sorry to see that she's leaving the commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Martin.
I completely agree. Deborah's been a very dedicated person, but on a personal note, her son Brandon, we hired as kind of an errand boy when he was in high school to work in our law office, and ended up being long-term employee until he joined the service recently. So there's a family that has a tradition of giving back and helping others.
Terrific.
We
Thank
thank
you.
them for their service. Thanks.
Thank you. All those in favor of accepting the communication placed on file signify by saying aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Next item on the agenda, we have a letter from the city manager. Dear Mayor Milanazzo, members of the council, pursuant to authorities specified under Mass General Law, Chapter 45, Section 2, in the Code of the City of Lowell, Article 6, Section 9-20, it is with pleasure that I am reappointing Peter Finnegan of 21 Garden Road, Lowell, as a member of the Lowell Board of Parks. This appointment shall be for 5 years, expiring July 12, 2015, or such time thereafter as a successor is appointed and qualified. Confirmation by the City Council is required for this reappointment and is hereby requested. I would be happy to answer any inquiry you may have concerning this reappointment. Very truly yours, Bernard F. Lynch, City Manager. Motion by Council Broderick, seconded by Council Elliott, that we accept the reappointment as recommended by City Manager Lynch. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Broderick?
Yes.
Counselor Caulfield?
Yes.
Counselor Dakota?
Yes.
Counselor Elliott?
Yes.
Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Counselor Mendonça?
Yes.
Counselor Mercia?
Yes.
Mayor Milanazzo?
Yes.
Counselor Murphy?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next item, in City Council vote, authorizing the city manager in the name of the City of Lowell to accept a deed to Kelly Circle in the City of Lowell from Butterfield Development Corporation. Whereas Butterfield Development Corporation desires to convey land to the City of Lowell in order to be accepted by the city as a public way, and whereas the City of Lowell is desirous of accepting the deed of said property from said Butterfield Development Corporation, which deed was recorded at Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds in Book 13607, page 259, and whereas an indemnity agreement between the City of Lowell and Butterfield Development Corporation has been signed, indemnifying the city of any potential claim for damages, now therefore be it voted by the City Council of the City of Lowell as follows, that the city manager be, and he is hereby authorized in the name of the City of Lowell to accept a deed from Butterfield Development Corporation Incorporated of land situate Kelly Circle in the City of Lowell, which deed was recorded at Middlesex North Registry of Deeds in Book 13607, page 259. A copy of said deed and applicable plan are annexed hereto. Be it further voted that upon conveyance, a certified copy of this vote shall be duly recorded at the Registry of Deeds by the grantor, and such recording shall be marginally referenced on the aforementioned deed recorded in Book 13607, page 259, all at the expense of the grantor. If there's no objection, second reading by title in City Council vote, authorizing the city manager in the name of the City of Lowell to accept the deed to Kelly Circle in the City of Lowell from Butterfield Development Corporation. What's the wish of the council? Move approval by Councilor Mendonça, second by Councilor Broderick. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Broderick?
Yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Caulfield? Counselor Dakota?
Yes.
Counselor Elliott? Counselor Martin?
Yes.
Yes.
Counselor Mendonça?
Yes.
Counselor Mercia?
Yes.
Mayor Milanazzo?
Yes.
Counselor Murphy?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Thank you. The next is an order of taking, acceptance of Kelly Circle. This does need to go to a public hearing. Motion by Councilor Broderick, seconded by Councilor Elliott to refer to a public hearing for November 16th. All those in favor of referring the order of taking and acceptance to a public hearing signify by saying aye. Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. Mr. Manager, this is a relatively new development, and this is the process by which a street was not ours, and now we're going through the process of accepting the street. And if this were done years ago, we wouldn't have what we have in front of us today. So it's good to see new developments of following proper procedure, and we're doing the right thing here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Mendonça?
Just for my understanding, since we're conveying a deed and then we're taking the land, is maybe, I don't know, through the mayor, maybe to the solicitor, to what the difference or why both are needed?
They're two separate legal acts, I guess, is the answer. That the taking and the deed, while both required, still constitute separate legal acts, and that just by accepting the deed alone wouldn't be a sufficient act on our part. We'd have to actually then do a taking. And the taking also then wipes out any other title interests on the property, so it ends up being a cleaner taking.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? It's been referred to a public hearing on November 16th. The next two items, the transfer of the $1 million to the school department from the reserve from school and the supplemental appropriation based upon the finance subcommittee meeting earlier this evening. These votes will be delayed until the November 16th meeting. Motion by Councilor Elliott, second by Councilor Mendonça, to delay action on these votes until the November 16th meeting. Any further discussion? All those in favor of delaying action signify by saying aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Thank you. Next item, in City Council, order of taking, to take by eminent domain a certain parcel of land in the city of Lowell for municipal purposes, to wit, for permanent easement, 441 square feet for access and utilities for the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utilities. Permanent easement, walkway condominium, 325 to 333 First Street Boulevard. Whereas the city of Lowell is desirous of a permanent easement for access and utilities for the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility, and whereas the city council of the city of Lowell, in order to accomplish the permanent easement for access and utilities of 441 square feet for the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility for public purposes at Walkway Condominium 325 to 333 First Street Boulevard, Lowell, has the right to exercise its power by eminent domain to acquire that certain properties, be it ordered by the city council of the city of Lowell as follows. One, that the city of Lowell, by right of eminent domain pursuant to the applicable provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 79, and also Chapter 610 of the Acts of 1967, if applicable, and any and every other power granted or implied, hereby take certain parcels herein specified for the city of Lowell by eminent domain for municipal purposes, to wit, permanent easement for access and utilities for the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utility. Said taking by eminent domain is for the fee simple interest and permanent easement in and to a certain parcel of land, including any buildings, vegetation, and improvements thereon, as hereinafter specified. Said taking by eminent domain is subject to any utility easements to Lowell Gas Company, Mass Electric, or New England Telephone, or the successor of such entities, or any other utility easement, or may be recorded at Middlesex North District Registry of Deeds, which easements are specifically excluded from the sort of taking. Therefore, said taking of said parcel is herein specified is shown on the plans entitled Plans Showing Takings for Utility and Access Easement in Lowell, prepared for City of Lowell Wastewater Treatment Plant, January 29, 2010, which plan shall be on file in the office of the city engineer, City Hall, Lowell, and a copy is attached hereto as attachment A. Further, said parcels are described in attachment B hereto. Said attachment hereto are incorporated by reference and made a part of this order. 2, it is further ordered that as compensation in full for all damages suffered by or caused to the owner of said land with the buildings thereon, if any, hereby taken, the following sum is hereby awarded for such damages incurred by reason of the taking herein of a fee and permanent easement thereof, reserving the right to amend the award at any time prior to the payment thereof by reason of a change of ownership or for any other good cause shown. Parcels taken and shown on attachment A and B are identified as specified below. Parcel 1, book 3600, page 209, 441 square feet, address 325, 333 First Street. Attention, Jag Chani and Brian Bates, owner, Walkway Condominium Association, on behalf of its Board of Managers and owners, a monetary award, $2,200, type of easement permanent. Grand total sum of award damages, $2,200. It's further ordered that the amount of any unpaid encumbrances and/or taxes will be deducted by the city from any award and paid directly to the party. It is further ordered that a copy of this order be recorded forthwith in the Middlesex North Registry of Deeds in compliance with Mass General Law, Chapter 79. It is further ordered that the sum of $2,200 for the takings herein of fee, permanent easement, and said parcel for all damages caused in connection with such taking, plus the cost of recordings and other incidental charges related thereto, be charged against the appropriation entitled 6000065530000 professional services. If there are no objections, second reading by title. In City Council, order of taking, to take by eminent domain a certain parcel of land in the city of Lowell for municipal purposes, to wit, permanent easement, 441 square feet for access and utilities for the Lowell Regional Wastewater Utilities, permanent easement, Walkway Condominium, 325 to 333 First Street Boulevard. What's the wish of the council? Motion to approve by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Elliott. Any questions, comments? Roll call.
Counselor Broderick.
Yes.
Counselor
Yes.
Caulfield. Counselor Dakota.
Yes.
Counselor Elliott.
Yes.
Counselor Martin.
Yes.
Councilor Mendonça.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Mayor Milonazo.
Yes.
Councilor Murphy.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next item, ordinance amend zoning, extend NB district to 301 Chelmsford Street. This needs to get referred to the planning board by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Broderick. All those in favor of referring this to the planning board signify by saying aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Next ordinance, amend Chapter 272 by adding new Article 9, water use restrictions. That gets referred to a public hearing November 16th by Councilor Caulfield, seconded by Councilor Dakota. All those in favor of sending that ordinance to a public hearing November 16th signify by saying aye. Opposed, to the vote. Next ordinance, amend Chapter 272, establish rates and charges, Article 6, Section 272-86, metered service water. This also gets referred to a public hearing on November 16th by Councilor Murphy, seconded by Councilor Mendonça. All those in favor of sending this ordinance to a public hearing signify by saying aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Thank you. Moving on to reports, subcommittee reports. I know we did have a finance subcommittee chair recognizes Councilor Elliott.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Subcommittee was scheduled to meet tonight, but as we explained earlier, it was delayed as a result of the special meeting that was held. So the manager did open, the Finance Subcommittee did open the meeting, and we recessed till November 16th. Manager gave a brief description as to those items and the issues that we'll discuss at that meeting. That's the report.
Thank you. Councilor Broderick on the finance subcommittee? No. Motion to accept the report of progress by Councilor Mendonça, seconded by Councilor Broderick. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to the vote. Thank you. Councilor Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just to announce a zoning subcommittee for next Tuesday at 5 p.m. In the council chambers to take up the proposed change, zoning change we discussed last week. So it's going to be next Tuesday at 5 o'clock to allow plenty of time for discussion and input from the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Broderick. Any other reports? Hearing none, thank you. Moving on to the petitions, we have one petition from National Grid, grant of main extension, 170 Merrimack Street, and underground conduit in Dutton Street, Trolley Way. This gets referred to a public hearing for November 9th, which is next Tuesday. Refer to public hearing by Councilor Martin, seconded by Councilor Caulfield. And this petition gets referred to a public hearing November 9th. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Thank you.
Oh, the 16th.
Moving on to the motions, we have four motions this evening. The first motion by Councilor Dakota. City Council requests the city manager to develop a policy to notify neighborhood groups of proposed zoning changes which could affect their respective neighborhoods. Seconded by Councilor Caulfield. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would actually like to request a suspension of the rules, if I may, so someone may speak.
I believe we have someone registered to speak. I'll have
They
the
are
clerk-
already
yes.
registered. Okay, thank you.
John Hamlet, Varnum Avenue.
Thank you.
Good evening, John.
I am John Hamlet, 495 Varnum Avenue. I'm representing the Pawtucketville Citizens Council. With me tonight are Deb Forgione, our chair, and Dick Sousa, current board member and former chair. First of all, let me thank this council for their support last week on the issue of drive-thrus in the neighborhood business districts. We look forward to that discussion next Tuesday. Tonight, I'm speaking in favor of Councilor Dakota's motion. Typically, the PCC board hears of a zoning change either when it's presented before this body or before the planning board. More often than not, we have to translate the prospective zoning change, determine if it affects our neighborhood, and then respond to the appropriate body under very tight timelines. Very often we know when a zoning change is being considered, but not understanding what the full implications of the change might be, or who it might impact. Let me give you a very recent example. A few days before the October 18th Planning Board, we received by email an agenda for the Planning Board with this item on it. In accordance with MGL Chapter 4A, Section 5, the Lowell Planning Board will hold a public hearing to hear all interested persons relative to ordinances amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Lowell, Massachusetts, with respect to Chapter 290 thereof, entitled Zoning, amending various sections related to vehicle facility standards. Now, if you take that agenda item and you put it in your secret Green Lantern decoder ring, you get something that roughly comes out as, we're considering making drive-throughs legal in your neighborhood. So our request is that in addition to receiving notification of these zoning changes on a timely basis, as Councilor Dakota has motioned, could we also include a description in English of the prospective change and how it might impact us? And importantly, these comments should not be interpreted as a criticism of DPD, and in fact, Adam not only translated the above agenda item in a very lengthy email to the PCC board, but then came back with another email explaining the zoning change process. We respectfully request that you support Councilor Dakota's motion. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you to the other members of the PCC for all you do for the neighborhood. Thank you. And Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, members of the community, for coming out and supporting the motion. This motion, I am going to refer to the Neighborhood Services Subcommittee, but the intention was to just engage both the DPD and the residents in a dialogue about two things. One, last week, one of the residents mentioned frustration in the way that they're communicated with. So I would like the leaders of the neighborhood association groups to come and let us know how they would prefer to be communicated with, so we can agree upon that. And then secondly, I've spoken with Mr. Bakey, and he is willing to come and make a presentation of the rules and the procedure of the zoning process, what things are mandated by the state versus the city, and find out if there's a way that we can work with the residents here. So I would like to refer this to the Neighborhood Services Subcommittee, please.
So we have a substitute motion by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Mendonça, to refer the motion to the Neighborhood Subcommittee for further discussion. I'm sorry?
Is there no Neighborhood Subcommittee?
Is that the wish of the maker of the motion, to refer it to the Neighborhood Subcommittee?
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor of referring the motion to the Neighborhood Subcommittee for further action signify by saying aye. Opposed, to vote. Thank you. Next motion by Councilor Murphy. Motion, request the City Council resolve the issue of requirements for a preliminary election and consider random ballot order in general. Seconded by Councilor Mendonça. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an issue that's come up a number of times over the last few years, and I thought it was important to really address it outside of the election, at least the council election season and in the budget season as well, to bring some kind of resolution to the issue of whether we want to keep the language in the charter as it is, which triggers a preliminary election after 18 candidates have qualified. So personally, I favor keeping that language in there. And the second part of the motion is really in that same vein to encourage more challenges. I think it's important for our democracy that the more challenges we have, the more people we bring into the process just by differing spheres of influence in the stronger I think that we have in the end. But that's, of course, up to the majority of the council to determine whether or not that's something that we want to keep. And I think that the second part really, if we do want to make a change, becomes a bit more complicated. In reviewing some of the memoranda that the law department has given the prior councils on the issue, it would seem that in order to change the rules for this coming election, it would really have to have gone on the ballot for the prior election and be determined by the voters then. But I think it's still worthwhile to start that process, no matter when it is able to go into effect, for the reason that it just hasn't taken place so far. And so that's the essence of the motion, that we really finish this and get it out of the way outside of the election season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Caulfield?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the motion, and I'm happy Council Murphy's bringing this forward, I'd like to refer the motion to the Law Department, let the Law Department come back with some guidelines. I know we went through this last year, and I believe we did discuss a home rule petition with Beacon Hill to amend the charter from 18 to 24 or 25, whatever it might be. And the sole purpose of that, over the history of the last 5 or 6 elections, there's only been 19, 20, or 21 candidates who taken out papers to be a candidate for the city council. And it would cost the city approximately $50,000 for primary election to eliminate 3 people. And I think that was the big discussion. And if you increased it to, say, 24 or 25, that would suffice, more or less. But I think the Law Department should probably get involved with this as well. So.
Chair recognizes City Solicitor O'Connor.
The question I would have is really what is the direction that the council is looking to have the Law Department act? The real issue is if the council wants to explore a change, we can explain how the different options that we can follow to implement a change. But in terms of some sort of direction as to are we satisfied with the number as it is, that's really the initial question that I think needs to first be addressed.
Thank you. Councilman Donza?
Yes, I agree that I think we should have a discussion on how we want to proceed. Personally, I think we should decide on something we could put before the voters and let the voters decide how they want to address this change, which means it wouldn't happen for the 2011 election. It would happen on a subsequent election. But that we could maybe put a ballot question on the ballot, on our municipal ballot, and give them the option. I think there are 2 things in question. One is the ballot order, whether in the final ballot they're listed as they currently are, alphabetically for the incumbents, followed by alphabetically for the challengers, versus just having a random drawing like they would have if there were a preliminary election. And secondly, maybe a question about what triggers whether or not there is a preliminary, if we're still going to have that, or if there's some other way we could have an election that without a primary. So I think those are 2 options to give the voters. I don't know if maybe the council wants to send this to a subcommittee to have a further discussion on what we as a council would like to propose for ballot questions. But personally, that's what I see as the direction would be, to have those ballot questions, let the voter decide.
As my colleagues know, we do have a City Council Rules Subcommittee, whether or not this should go there in cooperation with the Solicitor's Office. I don't know if that makes sense to my colleagues.
Right.
I'll make the motion to refer that to the Rules Subcommittee.
Okay, just
Further
so my
discussion.
colleagues know, it's the chair is Councilor Martin, the members are Councilor Rita Mercier and Councilor Joe Mendonça, just so my colleagues know. A motion by Councilor Mendonça to refer the motion to the City Council Rules Subcommittee. Second by Councilor Mercier. Councilor Caulfield, and then Councilor Elliott.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. During a primary election, every candidate is chosen by ballot. But in the main election, the incumbents are ranked alphabetically. That's the way it's been since the Planey form of government, going back to the middle 40s. So.
Thank you. Councilor Elliott.
Well, I guess I'm a little confused and looking for a little clarification either from the solicitor or from the maker of the motion. And I understand what the intent is. There was a fair amount of discussion prior to the preliminary election about a year ago. So rather than wait and be confronted with the same set of circumstances, we're trying to get an understanding, are we going to stick with it, go through a home rule petition again, or go through the charter change process?
Council Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, in essence, it's just to get a sense of the council on what direction they do want to go in. And, you know, if it does require changes, as Councilor Mendoza said, it would have to be put on the ballot and then come back the following election. But I think, you know, a discussion really should probably take place in the Rules Subcommittee. And the Law Department has already been involved. You know, there's a number of different memoranda that prior councilors would have gotten that laid out the steps that would need to be taken and the different avenues that could take place in. So I think that would be important. On the random ballot order, should there not be a preliminary election for whatever reason, I think that it just makes sense in terms of getting the most challenges out to participate, and to you know, the benefit to an incumbent really shouldn't be that arbitrary alphabetical order. The benefit to an incumbent, the advantage to incumbent really is just what we're doing here. It's you have the opportunity to make the changes that you say you really want to put into place during an election. You have that opportunity here, and I think that's where the advantage arises out of. And so there's no real need to compound those by you know, having that incumbency given you know, greater credence.
Thank you. Will you finish, Councilor Elliott?
Just one more question, Mr. Mayor, to the solicitor. So any of these changes would sort of trigger a charter change, which would also trigger an election to elect members to initiate a charter change, correct?
If that were the route, right?
Okay.
That would be one of the route. The other thing that that we can take a look at, and I'm sure it's been looked at before, is whether I believe some communities might have also done something like this via special home rule petition, which then becomes a much simpler process. But I think the you know, it's timely. The Law Department will send out to the new counselors the copies of the previous opinions that have gone out. We'll gather those up, and I think the last time this came up, there was a recommendation that this issue be resolved because we had been going through a sort of last-minute effort with our delegation and getting it waived.
Well, I agree that the members of the legislature, the general court said, we've been doing this year after year. We're not going to do it again, and I understand because it was a repetitive process. Either change your charter or stick with what you got. So I agree.
Thank you. Councilor Mendoza, then Councilor Martin.
Yeah, actually, Councilor Elliott just touched upon my question, which was we may not be able to go straight to an election to make the changes, and that's one of the things that maybe the solicitor could provide for us for the Rules Subcommittee is what the options are. If we can't go directly to an election, do we have to do the Charter Commission route or the Home Rule petition route, and what would be recommended from the solicitor?
Thank you. Councilor Martin?
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. I mean, there's two separate questions. There's the what and then the how. And as I recall, the last time it was rather complicated to get any of these types of changes implemented, but maybe not. So we'll take up at the subcommittee both whether we should make any change, number one, and then how to go about it. You know, as the ballot order, I suppose, the closer you are to that side of the room, you like it the way it is. And the closer you are to this side of the room, maybe you don't like it as much. And I happen to be in the middle here. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's a worthy discussion. And we'll figure out, as I said, I think, as I hear it, there's two issues, whether there should be any change and if there should be, how to go about it, how complicated that really is.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We have a motion to refer the, Council Murphy's motion to the Rules Subcommittee. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed to vote. Thank you. The next motion by Councilor Mercier. Motion, City Council requests the city manager have the library contact the proper person to block the pornographic sites from the computers at the Senior Center Library. Second by Councilor Elliott. Councilor Mercier. I know you have someone registered to
Yes,
speak.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe there is a person ready to, registered to speak.
Mr. Clerk?
Diane Cludia, 18th Street.
Good evening. My name is Diane Cludia, 120 18th Street in Lowell,
Excuse me, could you pull the microphone closer? Thank you.
for short people. I'm not only a Lowell taxpayer, I also work as a library assistant at the Pollard Memorial Library, and I have worked there for the past 12 years. I spoke several years ago at a safety subcommittee, personal safety subcommittee meeting regarding safety issues in the library, and I'm here this evening because, much like many people who read today's Lowell Sun headline, I'm very concerned about the issue of pornography in both the senior center and the Pollard Library itself. As a library employee for the past 12 years, I have been on the front lines along with other library assistants. We don't sit in an office somewhere. We are dealing with the public to the point where I know almost everyone by name, and they know my name. So we are around the computers, we are familiar with what's going on, and unfortunately, the issue of whether pornography should be allowed has been around for a very long time. The question is really a twofold issue. It's whether pornography should be allowed and whether or not it's appropriate for viewing by the patrons and by people who don't wish to see it. It's also whether it's appropriate for people that have to work there and don't wish to see it. So the question is really whether or not pornography is something that you want accessible to someone that is 13 years old. Because right now, the library policy is that if you are 13 years old, you have access to an unfiltered computer in the Pollard Library. Also, over at the senior center, from what my understanding is, there are not filtered computers as well. An unfiltered computer is something that allows people access to wonderful things, to medical terminology that they can't get through if they have a filter. But unfortunately, it also allows them to look at sites that are very inappropriate. And as a matter of fact, even if you put a filter on the computer, it will not always filter out things such as YouTube, which has become a huge sensation in the children's department at the library. That is filtered.
I'm going to have to ask you to keep your comments to the senior center and not the library.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. The safety issues at the library and the senior center regarding pornography are issues that we have brought before the union president, Tom Conlon. And as many of you know, sex offenders are allowed in the library and therefore are allowed in the
Again, I'm going to have to cut you
center.
off. I'm going to have to cut you off. This is about the senior center, not the library.
What I would like is for the senior center to be a safe place for everyone to come. And therefore, I am asking that Rita Mercier make a motion to forward all of the safety concerns to the City Council Personal Safety Subcommittee so that that can be a safe place for everyone to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Mercier?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was my understanding, and it has come to my attention, that that there's 6 computers in the library at the Council on Aging, and over there, even though you have to be 60 to join the senior center, because it's the library and it's a public facility, and it's associated with the Pollard Memorial Library. It is open to the public at large, so that if people go to the Pollard Memorial Library and they're, asked to leave, they know enough, and I don't know how they know that, but they're going to the senior center, and they're going up there, and they're watching things that is not appropriate for the seniors. And it came to my attention at another meeting of the Friends of the Council on Aging, and they told me that this was an ongoing problem, and that there are times when they call the police department to escort people out. I don't think that's proper. I don't think so. And then the article in the paper this evening talked about how, well, pornography is legal, and I don't care that it's legal. Smoking is legal, but I can't smoke in this building. So I'm using that philosophy in that I don't care if it's legal. I don't care if they watch pornography in Danvers or in the combat zone. I don't want it in my senior center. I don't want it there. I want filters on those 6 computers that are there. We have another room with 19 computers that if you want to, there's many programs available in many different categories to start telling you how to use a computer, how to use the internet. And you have to get an appointment with the library, and you go there. This room is locked. It isn't actually open to the public. It's scrutinized very well. But on any time you go to the senior center, to go to the library up to the 2nd floor, there's 6 computers. You can use it at any time that you want. You can go on to pornography. I don't think it's appealing to my seniors. And let me just tell you, these are not senior citizens that are looking at this site. It is people off the street on any type of age, and they're not seniors, they're young people, and I don't think it's appropriate. Although it's open to the public, I don't mind them coming up there, looking at what they want. That's appropriate. Your rights end when they violate mine, and my rights end when I violate you. I think, and I'm referring this to you, Mr. Manager, and I would appreciate if you do something about it. Having said this, I know there are other issues with the library. I'll bring that up at a later date. We will refer it to a public safety subcommittee. I can't do this one. This is a different story. I'm referring my motion to you, Mr. Manager, and I'm asking for some cleanliness. I don't care what people do in the confines of their own home. I'm not a prude. If this is what they want to look at, that's fine. Do it on your time, and I don't mean you, Mr. Manager, but I mean do it. Do it on your own time in the privacy of your own home, not in a city building that Mr. and Mrs. Taxpayer is paying for you to use that site for pornography. I'm not happy about it. I don't like what I read. Yes, we can't stop it. It's legal. Yes, so is smoking is legal, but we can't do it in this building, and I don't want to see pornography in our senior center. I think it's a violation of their rights, and I'm not happy with it. I don't care what you do anywhere else. I don't want it in that building. That's how I feel about it.
Mr. Manager?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, Councilor, I'd be happy to look at this. This is obviously not something that's a unique issue in the city of Lowell. It's something that libraries have wrestled with for decades or more. And the question of what's obscene and how do you deal with the issue. But I'd be happy to look at this and get a report back to you of how we're going to deal with the problem.
And I know that beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people like to look at nude bodies. This is art. Mm-hmm. But that's not art at the senior center when you're going by and your rights are violated because you're embarrassed. I'm not here to embarrass anybody.
Well, I do think that there are some extenuating circumstances at the library, that the senior center, that I want to take into consideration in responding to your request. And again, I've already spoken to the library director about this. The library director has spoken to me, and she is as committed to finding a solution as am I.
Thank you. So am I. Thank you.
Councilor Elliott?
I was going to suggest that while I understand that it's not part of the motion, the library. I completely agree. I didn't see the newspaper tonight. I don't know what exactly the law is, but I'm sure everybody at home watching, senior or parent, knowing that their child is going down to the library and they're, whether you're 13, 15, or what have you, that there's access to this. I'm sure they're not happy. I'm sure you're not happy. I'm sure that this city council is not happy. I don't know what we can do, and nobody wants to violate the law, but I don't think one parent would like to be anxious about sending their child down to the library, doing homework, and sitting next to somebody who's pulling up whatever it may be. So I'll look forward to that report, Mr. Manager. I'm glad I don't think we need another motion to get your report. Maybe we can get that report and refer it out, but I think I think the message is loud and clear, and you, as well as yourself, Mr. Manager, that, this is just not acceptable and not something that we want to have in a library or the Senior Citizen Center. So I appreciate the maker of the motion bringing this forward, and the manager responding in a timely manner to address this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion, comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote? Thank you. Last motion of the evening by Councilor Broderick. City Council requests the city manager to report on requiring all vendors to submit invoices and accept payments electronically. Second by Councilor Mendonça. Councilor Broderick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion pretty much speaks for itself. It's basically to look at any efficiencies and cost savings that the city may be able to obtain by doing what essentially the federal government does. I think the state government does it as well. It can, save money in supplies, cut time for payments, increase your discounts, and such things as just archiving your documents. And I think that it's the way things have been moving in the private sector, at the federal level, and I think that it's just something we should look at. I'm sure if we could refer it to the manager and get a report on how we might do it, what the cost is if we have to buy software and programs and so on. But I think it's something that certainly we can recognize some savings and certainly be worth the while. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed to vote? Any other business to come before the body? Hearing none. Motion by Councilor Murphy, seconded by Councilor Mercia. We stand adjourned. Thank you.